and I can look at it on my phone. You are live. So go ahead. So you are live. You are live. Hey everybody, this is Kevin Hunt, Your Voice, Your Reason. Today we got some amazing guests on here going to talk about some things. But what Your Voice, Your Reason is, it's just Real Voice Reason is a platform to elevate voices about news that are relevant to whoever's on here. And what's so great about Your Voice, Your Reason, when you come on our show, you don't no talking points is needed. And so I'm so grateful to be on here. And if you are on here right now, we just ask you to share, because this conversation today, we're gonna have a conversation around Senate Bill 24, Stand Your Ground bill, and talk about it got defeated in the House Judiciary Committee on yesterday, and we have some people that was in there and spoke on this bill, and we got some people on here that worked behind the scenes to defeat this bill, and then we're gonna talk about where this bill is at today, and if the possibility can it come back. And so this is gonna be a great show, and we just expect you all to learn a lot and get involved, because everybody on here is an activist in their own way from all parts of the state of Arkansas, and that's what's so grateful. We got Pine Bluff, we got Blytheville, we got Camden, Arkansas, and we got somebody that's not even from Little Rock, not even from Arkansas, just came down here and went to college, and so it means something to her. So this should mean something to all you all. So saying that, we're gonna go into this conversation and post your questions. And post your questions in the comment, and we'll make sure that the panelists will get in and say something. And make sure you share with your friends, tag your friends, and tell them to come on, because this is going to be a powerful conversation for everybody to hear. And you all need to know this. Welcome, team. Welcome, team. I'm so glad for all of y'all took y'all time out to come on the show today to share with everybody about what all that went on. We're so grateful for it, and I'm excited to hear what you all got to talk about. And I'm gonna say your name, but I'm gonna come back and I'm just gonna go right into it. I'm gonna let you all introduce yourself, and I'm gonna start with the youngest, and then we're gonna roll the dice on the rest of them. Tamara, tell us a little bit about yourself, real quick.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tamara Bakes. So potato, tomato. I am originally from Little Rock, Arkansas. As of January 1st, I've made a decade as an Arkansan. And so that's, feels pretty good to me, because this is Arkansas is where I've, became an adult, and the work that I'm doing and built my career in Little Rock, and just being in the space in the community, it has really been a blessing for me to, connect with individuals such as yourselves and, make Arkansas home. I love Arkansas. So that's who I am. And being on the platform with each of you, it's an esteemed pleasure and honor, because of you all. I look up to you, take bits and pieces from the work that you all are doing, and just make my own cake, make my own sauce. So thank y'all for allowing me to join the conversation tonight, and I'm excited about the conversation.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ms. Bates. And I just shared with her, Ms. Bates is one of the youngest activists, visible youngest activists, not only in Placer County but in the state of Arkansas. She has dedicated a lot of time in this work, from voter registrations to just pretty much everything, campaign, and that's what I love about her spirit. Ms. Seals, go ahead and share.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Camara Seals, and I am the policy director at Arkansas Public Policy Panel, and very active with Pine Bluff Branch NAACP, and wear a few other hats. But for this show, that's what I wanted to share. I've been doing this work most of my life. And I'm all about social justice work and just doing as much good as I can while I can. And so I'm excited about this conversation. I'm excited about just fighting for justice, equity, and policy, and looking forward to talking about Stand Your Ground, where we are and where we're headed. So thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Either one of the gentlemen, go ahead.
You said you were going from the youngest to the eldest, and so I better go on and jump chime in quickly. My name is Julian Lott. I serve as mayor of the city of Camden. I also have the pleasure of serving as the president of Arkansas Black Mayors Association. I pastor a church here in Camden, have a very vested interest in the success of Camden as well as the state of Arkansas. I am happy to be on a panel tonight with others who share an interest in protecting our communities from SB 24 or Stand Your Ground, the Stand Your Ground bill that they've been pushing. Anything that you have to rush like that you don't want people to have an opportunity to think about, even if they were salespeople pushing something that fast, that hard, it would make anybody nervous. And I was glad today that when they were trying to go too fast in the House, that someone stopped it and said, hey, slow this down. We need time to think about it. So I'm glad about those who sacrifice every day to go there and to do their work in this season of the year to help to make Arkansas a better place. And if that's not a good lead in, I can start again. But Hodges, we ready. I'm out the way. Go ahead.
He is a preacher.
Honorable.
You're fine. Good evening. Representative Monty Hodges, District 55, the eastern portion of the state. Glad to be on with you guys on Your Voice, Your Reason. I appreciate you for inviting me, my friend Kevin. Also, my fifth term in the Arkansas House, and this year I was elected to chair the Arkansas Legislative Black Caucus, which I'm honored and delighted, and and particularly to deal with issues that we're dealing with is SB 24. I think that as the chair of the caucus, I think my colleagues on the caucus would agree with me. This is a legislation that we definitely, as a caucus as a whole, wanted to see defeated. So I'm glad and delighted to be on here to talk about it.
Yeah, and I'm glad they give me a segue. And thank you all. Like I said, they give me a segue into this. Representative Hodges, I just want to start off, and I want anybody that want to answer this question, because I have several questions, but I also want to hear what you all. Tell me how dangerous is Senate Bill 29? Because sometimes I think we should have so many Bates, so many Seals and lots up there yesterday. We still be having a conversation right now tonight. And I don't think people really take this serious about how dangerous Senate Bill 2024 Stand Your Ground bill is to people that look like us and also the rest of our minority people in the state.
Yeah, absolutely. Granted, with COVID going on, people just didn't bombard the Capitol like they would normally do, probably. But I was inundated with calls and texts and concerns over this piece of legislation. So I truly appreciate those that did reach out, and people were looking for leadership. They were looking for Black leadership to step up to the plate and speak out against this legislation, to speak up against. So and so they were looking for people to come out and to speak up. So I commend first of all TAP and Pastor Lott, who testified on yesterday. 25 people, 25 folks testified against this bill on a 3-hour meeting. Only one person spoke against the bill, and he mentioned, called folks scoundrels, as if it's okay to just kill. If they're scoundrels, it's okay to kill them. I don't know what the definition of a scoundrel is, but horrible legislation. Horrible legislation for the state, horrible bill for the state. One is not needed, and they made it clear that it's not needed. All the testimony from mental health to everybody brought out to a different perspective and angle on why this bill is harmful for the state of Arkansas. We should. Arkansas has had some we've had a history of some ills. And in legislation like this just sets us back even further. And so, people were definitely going to die if this bill had gotten passed. And unfortunately, the people that were going to die look like you and I. Yeah. And these marginalized community, the handicapped folks, people, mentally ill people. We're gonna get, this was going to affect a lot of people, and so it was a bill. They're attempting to try to solve a problem that don't even exist. We have some of the most effective safeguards in place in our in laws than most other states. We definitely got a lot of loose gun laws. So, and so we have all the necessary tools we need to protect ourselves in the state. This is just a bill that's not necessary and it's not needed.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because and I'm glad you're going to, because that allowed me to ask Ms. Bates. And I know all of y'all not all the time, man. But did anybody want to put something else on that question? That what he said.
I want to make a note. As he was speaking, he mentioned, Representative Hodges mentioned that there are people who sometimes may deal with mental illness or autism, who would be just caught up in that bill unintentionally. And it isn't that they are doing something, but some people, one lady mentioned that sometimes children, a gentleman mentioned that sometimes his child will just touch doors and touch stuff and feel stuff because he's young. And it could cause problems that you don't even have intent. You don't even think about the problems that sometimes these type of laws can have. But there's another aspect to it. We joke about it and play about it in our homes, but there's this lady who goes around from town to town, place to place. I'm sure it's just one lady, but we affectionately call her Karen. And Karen has a knack of walking up in people's face trying to find out what you doing here. You don't belong here. Let me see your key. Let me see your ID. And for Karen's sake, I think they need to try to stop that bill, because if Karen walks up on Boquisha acting like that, Karen gonna get it. That law has protected Karen. That's all the protection she has. Because I have seen her poolside cutting the food. I've seen her in hotel places cutting the food. You have showed yourself. And if you look at some of the history, Emmett Till, all that had to do with a white woman crying. Look at Greenwood, the banks, and that was a white woman who cried out. Are we serious right now that we think we need to add this to laws that we already have? Thank you so much, Representative Hodges, for mentioning how many good laws we have. We already have self-defense. We already have the right to carry. The part of the reason so many police were there yesterday with us, Ms. Seals, is because the same thing that our legislators were trying, what some of our legislators were trying to do today. It's an agreement that they're not supposed to have guns there at the Capitol. So when they went in and they said, we want guns at the MAC building. And when they were saying, well, no, and they voted no, they went around them and they did exactly what they're trying to do right now. Now you can carry a gun in that building if you have enhanced gun carry. I don't want to be in the room while we're arguing or while we're trying to sort things out. I don't want to be in that room while people have guns and they're angry or they're upset about something like that. This law was all the protection that Karen had. I'm not going to be there sometimes to say, hey, don't do it, back down. I'm not going to be there as a leader to say, make a good decision. Now, we don't win in a lot of those cases, but it's an unnecessary argument to have if you have the opportunity to retreat. That's all we're saying. Leave that there. I teach it to my children. I would teach it to my grandchildren. You don't have to fight just because we're hot-headed right now. I'll wait on the next turn.
Yeah, powerful. And Ms. Seals, you or Ms. Bates have something to say, because y'all want to say something?
Go ahead and let Ms. Bates.
Because I want to, and you can go ahead and I want to go ahead and throw this question. I want you all to tell me when you answer that question, but also Ms. Bates, tell me your experience in that yesterday, and how, just what really made you encourage you to go up there and speak out, and why it was important to you. Because you went up there and spoke, and I heard all of y'all speak, and that was important to me. Share something with us, Ms. Bates.
Well, for me, I feel that we can always be fearful, but when we're silent, we're not making a change. Like that's deadly. So on my behalf of the people, like friends and family who's, speaking or looking for me to, like, not to say keep them involved, but they was like, yo, they're not there at work, and the best thing COVID could have done was to allow my schedule to become more flexible than it has ever become, because I can go to school from my telephone. I can, COVID was a blessing in disguise. But going back to speaking to the legislators, and sometimes I look at it like this. Some of these legislators are no smarter than the average person. They just happen to get elected because nobody voted or people voted out of ignorance. And so by me going up to share, like, hey, you didn't do your research, because how are you going to say crime has went down in Florida, and according to the law and the percentages and even firsthand experience from those who live in Florida, crime has rose. It's a story, and I encourage everybody to go and actually just, check this story out. Besides Trayvon Martin, there have been like 4 other murders that's resulted in from the Stand Your Ground. His name is Marquise McLaughlin. And this story hits home to me because, I'm often driving to the store. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I just park anywhere when I go to the store, and if I'm running in, running out, and this young man pulled up to the store. He was in the car with his wife and his children, and so as he get out to walk into the store, his wife is in the passenger side, and his kids are in the back seat. As he get out the car to go into the store, a white male pulled up in a pickup truck, and Mr. McLaughlin is already in the store, but his wife is still outside sitting in the car. And so this white man pull up's like, hey, you don't supposed to be parking here, just talking cash money to this lady. And she's like, well, my husband went into the store to grab snacks. She was like, we're about to leave. We about to move. And this white man proceeds to go open this lady's car door to try to tell her to move. Like, who gives you the right to walk up to somebody's door to tell them to move? Mm-hmm. And so from inside the store, the husband heard his wife arguing. Also, someone came in and telling them that there was some commotion going on outside. And so as the husband's walking out the store, he see the man's like proceeding to the window, trying to open the door. And from there, he pushed the white male down. And don't you know, as soon as the white male was on the ground, he tried to get up to, get back up. But in the end, he had a gun in his pants and pulled the gun out and shot Mr. McLaughlin in the chest. And it was saying I felt threatened. How do you feel threatened? Because you started talking cash money, going up and messing with people. And that's why I say that this bill is dangerous and harmful, because there are a lot of hotheads in Arkansas. Regardless, people can say what they want to say. Arkansas has a lot of hillbilly, a lot of racist bigotry that's going on in this state. And some people need to have the medicine given to them. And what I'm saying, what I'm saying is that give them a dose of their own medicine. You can't, allow people to come and just take away lives or, meddle with people, because people don't meddle with you. So why would you go meddle with people? And I feel that this can be a result of with this bill. Some people just have hatred in their heart. I mean, that's just the way they were raised. Hatred was taught to them. And so as they away to people and they feel like they can get away. So this bill is a harmful and deadly bill. And just look at people, like I said, for instance, I have friends, not to say they're not politically interested, they are, but they don't pay attention to politics or just what's going on in the community. That's not their fault. But one of my male friends or male, just someone that's close to me, they can be outside one day, something can go on and all hell can break loose. And so you don't want your friend to die at the hand of someone that is not God. God, God is the only person can give life and take life. Individuals should not take life because that's not your job. So I just feel a need to, stand up regardless, January 13th, they try to get me because they try to tell me, they told me, well, what's the do you have? I was like, I'm speaking from the heart. So I was like, you know what? Next time I come with better, statistics to let you all know that this bill is still harmful. And Ballinger, he still couldn't give any reason why this bill, is needed, him or Pickleton. And I dislike when they always say, well, if my pregnant wife was running, okay, well, what if little Taquan was outside minding his business? Like, you got to, really, you just got to be like fair, like what you're doing.
And something is based on this funny, and Ms. Seals, I'm gonna come to you. And I heard the testimony of the last guy that gave this story about if me and my wife was walking. You remember that story yesterday, Ms. Seals? Him and his wife and somebody, like, he just read it and ready to pull. And Tracy said, "You right, Ms. Bates, Arkansas persons wear a privilege as a badge," and that is so true. But go ahead, Ms. Seals.
Okay, so let me say a couple of things about the bill. People are wanting to know. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, people are wanting to know why the Republicans are pushing this. So let me say this. The NRA is on their butts hard, okay? So there's a lot of outside influence from the NRA. And Arkansas is the only southern state that does not have stand your ground. But we are going to continue to fight against this bill. And, it was mentioned about the duty to retreat. We want to keep, we have a duty to retreat. Mm-hmm. Now, and when I say that, for those who are watching who may not know the lingo, if you're in a situation and you feel threatened, but you can get away, you're to do that. Okay, mm-hmm. That is what the law is currently. If you can safely remove yourself from that danger, you do that. But if stand your ground passes and becomes the law of the land, then you have the authority to make the decision yourself. And that's the danger. And I want everybody to understand that's what we're talking about when we say dangerous, because that person has the opportunity at that moment to make the decision for themselves if they feel endangered. The problem is just by the mere color of our skin, some white people feel threatened. Just the mere color of our skin, the way we wear our hair, some white people feel threatened, okay? And so therefore we fight. We already know, we've seen the data that Black people will be disproportionately impacted if this bill goes into law. That's why we fight so hard. And I just, like I said, I feel like I need to say that because everybody doesn't understand the ins and outs of this bill. They just hear it's bad. That's why it's bad. It's a matter of life and death, and especially for our Black men. And so we need to understand that, and we need to continue the fight. Like I said, we have the data. I thought when Tamara went in and testified on January 13th, it was great. I mean, she came from the heart. She gave great testimony, but they wanted to jump stupid and ask these questions that they knew she didn't have data and statistics, which was not important to her testimony if they paid attention. So we still got some work to do. Somebody said the NRA is a hate group. They are, and so we see even with the NRA how they responded with Castile. Mm-hmm. He was shot down in his vehicle, and he was licensed to carry. But they didn't come out and issue a statement in support of him, who was a Black man, that was doing it by the book. But anyway, I want to make sure everybody understands the why that we're fighting. So we need to continue to fight. We're doing things very strategically, behind the scenes on some of that. But that's why we fight like we fight. And
I want you to ask any one of y'all, and maybe y'all all may know, but how how much influence does the NRA have in Arkansas? And I barely ever see them. They kind of hide behind the scenes, but they have so much influence over our people. Go ahead.
We are aware that Representative Hodges is going to be the authority on a part of that particular answer. But we know right now that they are looking for weakness in some place where they can set up camp. They're in bankruptcy and some more things. They found a weakness in our state that they're playing to. And every time you hear somebody say, oh, but if my wife, nobody's saying if I'm running and something happened, those are dog whistles. Those are dog. What's going to happen to our beautiful white women? The 14 words, that they, that the 14 words that they uphold and some of that, those are dog whistles. My wife, what about you? What if you're running and somebody should attack you? They're not talking about themselves. They're trying to pull on that thing, on that fear in those people. And they know right now that we don't need those type of laws in Arkansas, but we're weak enough for them to try to take advantage. And we've been showing a lot of strength. Georgia is teaching us that there's strength in numbers. The plan and her book that's coming out this week, shout out to Ms. Abrams, her book that's coming out, we're going to get that. We're going to use that as a playbook. We can improvise and we can get ready, but the NRA is buying out a lot of our leadership. This is not what you think. And when those people are making those decisions, here's what they're responding by saying, no offense to you, Representative Hodges, but some of our leadership is starting out by saying, well, who going to support us, if the NRA pull back? So they're asking, can you replace the money? Can you get me some black votes if I walk away? They're letting you know that the NRA is what's back. How are you in bankruptcy and you spending that kind of money to lobby? The answer from my standpoint is that the NRA is a misuse of influence and affluence. And it would be better for the state of Arkansas if our leadership would think of what is best on the ground. Ultimately, the decisions that are going to be made at that Capitol are going to come right here to my streets. And I'm responsible for Camden. I can't think just about Northeast Arkansas. I can't think about what's best for Fort Smith. I know for a fact a bill like that is dangerous for our state, but it will be lived out on the streets of my city. And for that reason, I refuse to sit back and watch the NRA control our state.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Representative Hodges, you have something to say?
The NRA does have a lot of influence. Arkansas is becoming more and more red as we speak. And, they put a lot of money behind these candidates. Matter of fact, one of our congressional delegates here in the state has received the most money out of all the delegates from the NRA. So they pump a lot of money in, I can care less about the NRA. They, I got a D rating on their grading scale. They have no influence over any decision I make. I believe in the Second Amendment, but, I think, we're becoming the wild, wild west in the state of Arkansas. Going back, Kate Fletcher yesterday, when she gave her testimony, she talked, that first of all, they have no data to back up or any proof that this bill is necessary. That's one thing. Usually when you draft legislation, you studied other states, you see what they're doing, especially if it's good legislation, and you try to draft laws because you have data to show it's needed in the state. They could not prove that this piece of legislation was even needed. And she made a point that, because they kept talking about Florida, in which we know the tragedy that happened in Florida, but their laws in other states, the laws were passed, she said, between 2005 and 2012. So you have enough information during that time to see what the outcomes were from passing that, from passing those types of bills. So this is just a piece of it's just a piece of bad legislation that I don't care how you try to dress it up and put perfume on it. Mm-hmm. It's not needed. It's bad for a state that already has some racial issues and racial divides already.
Mm-hmm. And to
be silent, And you know, and I heard Tamara say, you just can't sit on your hand and be quiet. To be silent is to consent. And
Yes.
And so everybody who can and who will, especially if they try to bring this back again, needs to be bombarding this Capitol, needs to be speaking out against this bill, and telling us, holding their legislator accountable, and saying shame on you guys for even considering implementing a law in this state. We should be a state that's moving forward. We're taking 2 or 3 steps back by trying to pass stuff like this.
I agree. Go ahead, Tap. You want to chime in?
Yeah, and I'm gonna chime in. I'm gonna be brief. So another thing I've researched about a lot of these policies that's been poured down from just like either NRA or this committee, the ALEC committee. A lot of these represent, specifically Republicans. It's just like an input. They're just letting these bills come down. Some of them don't change like the codes that's in these bills, because like we were saying, this is being sent down because they want this bill to be passed in all these states. And so when I shared yesterday as a part of the testimony, don't join your buddies just because you want to look good. Like, you need to be a representative for all Arkansans. I mean, you all were sworn in to protect and to make sure that the quality of life and the quality betterment for each Arkansan, not just Representative Hodges' constituents as well. So it's for all constituents. And so that's where it also comes up to making sure that you do your research, because that's just like you going to take a test. You want to have, if you study for the test, guess what? You're going to get an A. And if you didn't study for the test, don't be in there saying, coulda. You need to study. So that's one thing that I was bringing. A lot of these,
somebody mute your phone. Go ahead.
It's being passed through by the ALEC. So just wanted to share that note.
Okay, go ahead, Representative.
That's a good point. It's not a one size fit all. And I like what she said on yesterday. She said, if another state jumps off a bridge, is Arkansas gonna jump off the bridge? You know what I'm saying? So it's not a one size fit all. We can't model ourselves off based on what other people are doing. Like you said, we have to make policy that fits the constituencies of the state of Arkansas.
Yeah.
And I wanted to jump in and because I know Tamara has said several times about the legislators doing the research. They don't want to do the research.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The research that they have doesn't yield in their favor. And so the thing about it, they're pulling at straws, and it's like somebody's already said, they have not been able to answer for us why we need Stand Your Ground in Arkansas. None of the sponsors on January 13th, they couldn't, and on yesterday, they couldn't. They did not. They have not answered that question. And that's because we have strong self-defense laws already in Arkansas. We have that. We are in a good position already, and so we don't need this Stand Your Ground bill, and that's why we're going to keep fighting. And I want to say something real quick about advocacy. I want to say to the people watching, it's because we stood up and let our voices be heard. We were making, and when I say we, I mean people all across the state of Arkansas were making phone calls. They were sending text messages. They were sending emails. We showed up at the Capitol. We did that, but it was advocacy. It was a grassroots effort. There were about at least 15 groups that we collaborated. We'd be texting and talking at night. We are communicating, okay? These groups, we came together, we unified, and we came out with one voice. And we said, no, we do not want this in Arkansas. And the other thing, there was such a diverse group of people from backgrounds and different walks of life that testified. There were 25 people who signed up to testify against this bill from all four corners of Arkansas. There was one person who testified for the bill. So when you look at the diversity of the subject, like I said, people talked about, of course, the race piece. Okay, you had people talk about the mental health piece, the physical, the disability community. So we heard from the faith community, the medical community. We had leaders from everywhere, and it was amazing. Okay, and so I want people who are listening to know that this was done from people just like you and I, and people came, everyday ordinary citizens, and testified. Okay, so we can do this. And what I want to leave you with is saying, organized people have power. The power lies with us.
And you know, I am so glad that you tapped and said that because I understand the power that you all have, and that's pretty much why I wanted to create this podcast, so we can get this information out to people and get them motivated and active and involved in everything. And I got a question. So one of y'all want to say something before I ask this question?
Well, I want to make a request, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I think we all do well to pay attention to how bills are passed. I want to just drop one quick nugget, and I'll get out of the way. I'll be quiet. But we need to know how bills are passed. We have spent our time, particularly, and if I'm allowed to just say it the way I feel it, as Black people getting on the backside of things, trying to fight something. We need to start coming up with policies and things, ideas that we're for. Get those bills to the people who are there to draft those positive bills for things we do want. If we had certain protections in place already, then this would make sense that they were trying to do this. But we haven't protected ourselves or shored ourselves up enough for them to have a reason to even fight us. Then once that bill goes in, then that bill is referred to a committee, whether it's on the Senate side or whether it's on the House of Representatives side, whichever side it starts on, go to committee, then it goes to the floor. Then it go to the other side. If it passed, it could fail, or it could pass with amendments. And then if it go to the other side, they have to do the same thing. If they make an amendment on the other side, it's got to go back and it's got to be done. Do you know that this leadership just tried to circumvent this process?
Yeah.
They just turned right back around and rewrote it. Now they've been presenting the same mess ever since 2005. We cannot afford to go to sleep. We cannot afford to take a nap. You better stay woke, because there's somebody determined to justify taking the lives of people. And trying to figure out, how can anybody claim to be pro-life and preoccupied with killing people all the time? You don't want to feed them. You don't want to nurture them. You don't want to give them clothes. You want to cut off all of the help that you give to them. You want to make us bring them into the world, which I'm not against children being born. I believe God is the giver of life. But you want to say a woman got to have the child. But when she has the child, you'll shoot him in his back. And the person who shoots him doesn't even have to stand before a judge. Now, we're not fighting because a Black man shoots a Black man. Neither is this an argument because a white man shoots a white man. This is a fight because we recognize that disproportionately, the guns are ending up in the hands of people who are not so Black, shooting some Black people. This is where the argument comes. I'm just as animated when I find out white lives are gone prematurely as I am about Black lives being gone prematurely. So I understand that there's some people who see it in black and white. But if you scratch off this color off me, don't do it. But if you take this off, you'll find that we're basically the same. When they get that floor accident, and when these bills are going through and they finally make it, that's the process. They're trying to circumvent the process. Please, if you learn something before I do, I represent Arkansas Black mayors as the president. But if you hear of something and we can support and we can help, we want to collaborate. We want to cross-pollinate with people who are trying to make Arkansas a better place. if you have any information that you know would help me, please help me. Now, I've been getting some of my research from NYIT, but there's some college students who got some free time on their hand. There's some people who are studying to learn better, to become lawyers and stuff like that, who can help us with some research. Let's employ some of those people to come alongside of us. We already know some of these bad bills that are coming down the pipe, but they didn't care enough. It didn't matter. Our lives didn't matter enough to them to even do an impact study. The idiot had enough nerve to say, don't stall this bill. Let the bill go through and then we'll do the impact study. Are you out of your ever-loving mind? These are lives we're talking about. We're not talking about losing a car. We're not talking about losing a life. I'm losing a house. We're talking about the life. We're talking about somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's brother. Most importantly, they need to be trying to protect Karen. I'm telling you, Karen is gonna make the news. She's gonna pull up on the wrong person, asking for their hotel key, and that's when it's gonna hit the fan. When the mess gonna hit the fan. Now I'm tapping out. Thank you so much for letting me come on.
Thank you, Mayor Lott. I'm glad you shared that, and I want to go to Representative Hodges about the question from Nicole Townsend on the floor. What happens tomorrow when they meet again to decide to reintroduce this bill? And where are we on that, Representative Hodges? Where are we at on that bill right now?
No, it's not been determined if they are. We thought that he was going to do it today, but he didn't. You know, he has to have a 2/3 vote, so that's 66 votes in the House in order to get to skip going to committee and bring it directly to the House floor. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think he has the votes, the 66 votes to do that. So right now, you know, it's up in the air. I hadn't heard anything any differently, but no, I don't know if he's going to try to bring it to the floor. And I know a couple of you guys were there today while we were in session, but no, he has to have a 2/3 vote in order to even bring it back to the floor. So we, you know, so continue to keep your eyes and ears open, and most definitely, you know, as soon as I hear information, I'm putting it out there. I'm texting folks and letting them know this is going on, because I think it's very important. You mentioned advocacy, that you lobby, you get in our face, you send you bombard us with emails and calls, and that's how you get our attention. And so he does have a 2/3 vote in order to get that back on to bring it to the House floor. And right now, at this point, I don't think he has the votes to do that.
And I heard Ms. Seal say it, and I heard everybody kind of reiterate it all. It was talking about this advocacy, this collaboration. I'm just thinking, we got Southeast Arkansas. We got a little further southeast further, Camden, Arkansas. We got Northeast Arkansas. We got Central Arkansas. And we got Ms. Bates on here, who was a young activist that has the skill set. I'm just thinking we pull some young people from each and out of every city that's on this call, on this Zoom thing, and we put them together so we can activate those young people, connect with Ms. Bates, and just start building their knowledge and understand about what's going on. So I'm doing this Let's Talk series right now for Your Voice, Your Reason. And I want everybody to share, because we don't have much longer to be on share. But my next series is going to be called Brainstorming. And then I'm going to pull from some of y'all. Basically what brainstorming is going to be a series of just trying to figure out how can we collaborate? What are the next steps the things that we need to be doing? You was talking about her book, Miss Abrams' book. So that's what my brainstorming series is about. Just what's the next step? How can we collaborate? Mobilizing the team. So y'all be prepared for that. But go ahead. And I'm glad. This is one thing I want to say for everybody. We are men and women of God. And I love the Old Testament. I love Exodus. But when I see Senator Ballinger and all those other guys, the only thing I can think about from the Old Testament is the hardened heart of Pharaoh. Can nobody tell them that this is wrong? No matter how many times that Moses come and tell him what God said, he just believed in his heart, I'm doing what's right. I just want to go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of hypocrisy. I heard what Mayor Lott was saying, and he's right. You know, they push for pro-life, and there's nothing wrong. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But you see the hypocrisy in their thought. You see the hypocrisy in their actions, and therefore I lose any respect for them because of that. And it's I mean, you can see it when they don't want services to go to the mother who's had the child and she needs help and assistance. They want to cut the social services, you know, and so yeah, we see a lot of hypocrisy there. But the other thing I want to say, and I want to say this with the utmost love, the utmost I don't know. I'm just trying to preface it, but I want, one of the things I want. Now we're gonna stop this bill. I feel confident that we're gonna keep stopping it every time it comes up. But one of the things I want to make sure our sisters and brothers do is to get licensed to carry. Now I'm not trying to incite anything, okay? I'm licensed to carry, and I do carry. Okay, I carry. But we need to do this the right way. We need to be prepared, okay? And I'm not saying, you know, we just need to be prepared to protect ourselves. You know, I'm a believer in the Second Amendment. You know, I'm a gun owner. I grew up deer hunting with my dad, and so I have that experience. So I want to encourage my sisters and brothers, if you're carrying, go get the training, know how to use your weapon safely and things like that. And I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to provoke anything. And I've said that before, and I'm gonna say it again. You know, we just need to be able to do things the right way.
Yeah, and I thank you for saying that, Ms. Seals, because on my last talk, I think I had it with Edmund Davis, and he talked about because I said that I think that we should go get the right to carry a firearm, and he said, yeah, when you go get the right to carry a firearm, make sure that you get the proper training. And I thought that was just so important, even though I knew he was going to say that, but I wanted him to say it to the audience. So make sure you get the proper training. And I think that anybody that's eligible to carry a firearm, go get your firearm just so you can have it. Hey, there's no law to say you can't have a firearm. When you get your firearm, make sure you get the proper training and make sure that your mind is right when you carrying that firearm, because that's important. You know, if you're going to drink somewhere, you don't need to go take that gun with you while you're going to drink. But thank you.
Exactly. I just wanted to reiterate that. Like I said, I'm not trying to start anything. I just want to help people. I want to help my folks. You know, make sure we do things the right way and make sure we are properly trained and we know what we're doing. Because there's a difference in carrying and going out into the deer woods to hunt game. There is a difference.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you for sharing it. Man, I don't know, man. It's just so much information, so much to be said. Representative Hodges, tell us what should be, and I'm staying on the same thing, but changing the subject a little bit. What should we be expecting? Like, what's some more upcoming bills and that we should be expecting just here short, or we should be rallying around that, get people involved with?
Well, you know, the other one is Representative Lowry's 1218 and 1231, which, you know, tries, you know, the 1619 project piece, and then the other one is, you know, to change how Black history is taught, or should we teach it, and so that's one of the big ones that definitely we need to keep an eye on, to speak up and speak out against. Actually, you know, he came before the Legislative Black Caucus on Monday to kind of, you know, I thought, you know, that we should hear from him and kind of understand, okay, what's the purpose and what's your reason behind, you know, this bill. And you know, so, you know, after it was over with, you know, of course we weren't convinced that it was needed, just like the Stand Your Ground bill. But you know, it is you know, stuff like that we're looking at this session. It's just mind-boggling. You know, all this, you know, all this legislation, all this stuff that's taking place is a move backwards. None of this legislation is a move forward. It's just, you know, so I'm just baffled and can't comprehend, you know, the reasoning behind some of this stuff, to be honest with you. That's why it's so, elections have consequences, first of all. Let me put that out there. You know, and you have, you know, and we have to be vocal we have to be intentional. And like to do your research and be prepared so that we can speak up against some of this nonsense that's going on. We're fighting an uphill battle. Of course, the Black Caucus is nonpartisan. I'm a Democrat. And I try not to get in those partisan fights and all that stuff. And we got enough that's going on a national level, but but I'm a realist at the same time. And some of this stuff is mean spirited. It's oppressive. It's geared toward a particular group, and and that group tends most likely to be the marginalized group. You can't. If you have no bootstraps, you can't pull. How can you pull your boots up? And so I'm just baffled, and to be silent is the consent. We just have to. We're going to have to be more proactive, not reactive, like you said, coming in the rear, but be more proactive. And and leaders got to do a better job of making sure that we put that information out there so you guys can have the tools you need to fight this fight that we're in.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, Representative. Is anything else that's going on up there that y'all think we should know? Ms. Bates, is there something else going on that we also should be paying attention to, or maybe kind of y'all may have heard? I saw today on the news that, and I don't know what's the pushback, Representative Hodges. I heard them, if it is some, I heard them say that somebody presented a bill to make sure that the Holocaust is being taught in the school. And I'm like, well, if they gonna teach that in school, why don't they make sure that we secure the African American studies history in the school? And it was just crazy when I saw that today. I was just like, okay.
And another bad bill that just passed, which is another form of voter suppression, is that passed unanimously on the House floor. It's another one of Larry's bill is when you vote provisional, you have to come in the following Monday and show an ID. If that's not suppressive, I don't know what is. The elderly population, they're not going to, come back out to, if they voted provisional and we had a whole lot of provisional ballots due to COVID this election cycle. So that's another piece of legislation that they got through. That's going to be another form of voter suppression.
And it defeats the point for voting. Like, I don't know where these people, but go ahead. Ms. Bates, you said you had something to share.
Yeah, and just to give some context behind, I know the bill Representative Hodgson was sharing. Could you share with me one more time? I think it's the the bill that's regarding the 1619 bill. Which bill is that?
1231.
Okay, so with that bill,
House Bill 1231. Yeah, you got 1218. You got 1231. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So have you all heard his logic and reasoning behind the bill because of the privilege walk? And so you telling me that you feel uncomfortable with people learning Black history or just learning history of some sorts, that a privilege walk was the exercise was the reasoning behind this bill. So for me, that shares that, that exercise has been going on way for a minute, because I participated in the privilege walk, and it's not to single anyone out, but it's really that's how you get to learn how people, where they grew up and how they think, and it's really to break ignorance down. And so, as I've mentioned before, it has to be, and this is something we all gonna work on it. We have to start training up not only our high school students, our people in the community. I always say our, the dope boys too. I'm giving the language, because they're in that space. They are proximate to what's going on in the community. So training everybody up to letting them know what's going on, because oftentimes we get to speaking to ourselves in these circles and like we're connected to each other, but we hearing it, but the people who need to hear it the most, you know, they're left out. So that's always been my mission, to really go and talk to the people that's not everyday thought about, like the everyday people. And so in order for us to see change, we have to start reaching out to those people who aren't, you know, as polished or don't understand politics, because I believe it or not, them are some of the smartest people as well. So, you know, these people, they have to understand, like, just because it's uncomfortable for you, how you think we feel like every day something is coming out towards us, or we have information that's being presented to us about our heritage or about us, and hell, we've been uncomfortable coming over here. So you can't try to take things away and make it, you know, watered down just so it can fit, you know, fit to you and make you feel comfortable. So I just think if we all do a good job of really reaching out and sharing, like making people uncomfortable for, you know, like I shared earlier, it be fearful and still move forward, because at the end of the day, they're not scared to just push anything towards us. So
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you, Chairman. That's why I said we need more young, visible activists like Ms. Bates. And I just pray and hope that not only that you all can work together and figure out who's in your community and build some type of coalition or something. I don't know. I'm willing to work with you on, but go ahead, Mary Lott. And I thank you, Ms. Bates, for that. Tap. Thank you, Tap.
I want to mention again that there are a lot of bad bills, but one of them is SB 59, which means that at a state level, we wouldn't even have to obey federal laws as it pertains to guns. You can't tell me that you're pro-life and everything that you're offering me is death, death, death. And right now, I think one group, if you listen to the sentiments, if you just listen to what they're saying, even to LeBron James, go home, go back where you came from, and all of that, they're letting you know you're not a part of, in their mind, you're not a part of their America. You don't belong here. Give us, this is our country. This is our house. This is our this. This is, but if you're listening, they're telling you every day. So it's not about the comfort of everybody. It's about the comfort of a particular group of people who believe that they stole this land fair and square, and they taught you how to celebrate Thanksgiving. You better not figure out what really happened for Thanksgiving. If you ever figure that out, we're going to be mad again. And so what they've done, you know, history is written by the victor. It's written by the people who win. And so the people came in and they told you, this is what we want you to believe. And while I do celebrate Thanksgiving as a time of Thanksgiving and gratitude, that is what I focus on during that particular season. But they rewrote them out of that history. They wrote the history as if, oh, we just came over and teach us how to grow tobacco. Oh, you're such wonderful people. And they're going to rewrite it again. And our children won't know the truth about us. And then we'll be lost and disconnected in, quote unquote, their country. And it's the ignorance and the amount of silliness and I'll just say stupidity that's being played out. You don't have to be sharp to figure it out. But, you know, there were people who said Jews will not replace us. And those same people said they love Jesus and they're God-fearing Christians. Are you serious? If Jesus was a Jew, you idiot, and you say you hate Jews. And if he was a Jew, you better believe he wasn't lily white. Are you kidding me? And then when they go do missions and they go do ministry in other countries, many of them take only pictures of white Bible characters. We know for a fact that it is impossible. I mean, we have a lot of work to do. And it's going to take young people, as the young lady who's on here now, it's going to take young people like that who are going to be willing to engage other people. And like she said, we got to find those in our community who may not show up for everything. The dope man need to know. People in the crack house need to know. Everybody need to know the truth. And they need to know that these people will love for you to entertain them. They're grateful when you're playing basketball. They love it when you play music and when you sing. But when you stand up and you want to be counted, all of a sudden, they're trying to change the rule. That's why they don't want you voting. That's why when I was running for office, I was told black people don't vote. You got some good ideas, but black people don't vote. You're not going to win because even if they vote for you the first time, they ain't going to come out that second time. So I knew I had to win it fair and square the first time. But I thank God for Ms. Stacey Abrams for she is going to show us a way and give us a handbook to where we can come back and tweak it. And Arkansas, I don't know. I believe it's time to flip. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
And thank you, Mayor Lyon. That's why we are here, because of all that. You have something to say, Ms. Seals?
Yeah, I was just going to say that Arkansas is the second most friendliest gun state in the United States, the second most friendliest gun state. Okay, so that's one fact. We've got so many gun laws and stuff on the books. We need to get rid of some of that, but we need to like review it and streamline that down. But nevertheless, one of the things we're seeing with the mean-spirited bills, the voter suppression, and all of this, white men are starting to feel the pressure of losing power.
Mm-hmm.
They are starting to feel that pressure. Okay. There's all types of studies that show by 2050 that the black and brown will be the majority in this country, and just different studies have shown different things. And so there's a fear. They're looking at some long-term strategy. And this is happening in especially southern states, but states around the country, like with these voter suppression laws, with these gun laws and things like that. You've got these national groups, and I cannot think of the name of that group, but they've got these they go around in every state. They're trying to push, they're similar to the NRA, but they have another name. I can't think of them. And so that's what's happening, you all. So, it's like the pastor said, the mayor said, we need to stay woke and realize what they are trying to do. Not all white men. Now, I understand, I'm not saying all white men. The white man they're becoming fearful, and they're trying to hold on to the power they have. And so that's part of what's happening and why we see them acting such a fool in this legislative session.
Representative Hodges, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Tamara, did you have something to say? I know she does somewhere. I see her. And I need to bring her back in. My bad.
Yes, never mind.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Go ahead.
Hello.
All right. So yeah, man. And thank you, Ms. Seal, for saying that, because that was right. I want to say this again. I am big on trying to organize and mobilize. That's the reason why I started this podcast, this platform. So to make sure that we are mobilized, but make sure that we have the information so when we get mobilized, we know exactly what we're doing, the reason why we're doing everything we're doing. And we need people like you all. And I think we just should be elevating some more people that throughout this whole state. And I'm just so grateful that I know so many people, and you all know so many people. And there's a lot of things that we should be doing. And we only have about a couple more minutes. I'm gonna let you all off. And I want everybody who feel like they would like to have a closing statement to share with whatever you want to say. Could be something about this. It may not. Whatever you care about, something going on in your community. I don't care. But I just pray and ask that you all sometime point get together and let's connect with those young people in each and one of our community. Some of y'all may already have something going on, but I just pledge, wish that you all connect with Ms. Bates and y'all kind of formalize something so we can do this statewide. Ms. Bates, do you have some closing remarks?
So I'll just, thank you all again for, being true to your word. And, so many people often say, well, bring young people to the table, and then young people, we get to the table, and sometimes it's like this old vanguard mindset of like not allowing the young people to do what they do. And so for me, thank y'all for opening up this door, because I've actually, I was actually down in Georgia. I was down in Savannah specifically, working a Senate campaign runoff, and, being a part of the movements and what they were doing, everyone was working together. Like everyone had, the plan, the execution, and of course, the collaboration and the unity. And so when it comes to organizing and winning, I have a background in just, I like to win. And I
do too.
basketball metaphor because I played ball all throughout, high school and college. So when it comes to winning or organizing, we always have to think like looking at it like your point guard, your shooting guard, your small forward, your power forward, and your center. Like everyone has a role to play. And, we also have a bench. So making sure that you're lining everyone up to do, what they're good at. And as I shared, I'm a open resource. I have friends who, also everyone talks about Stacey Abrams. I went through a fellowship with with Stacey Abrams and her group, and, to learn the techniques and the resources to understand like what does mobilization, what does effectively organizing and strategic planning look like. Because as everyone said, everybody just trying to figure it out, but it's also just coming together. Whatever you've been doing, like let's just all do it. Because at the end of the day, the game of it is winning and playing smart. We play chess, not checkers. And so, I'm here. I just reach out. Don't be scared, but don't come to me at the last minute neither too. So I want if we're gonna win, we need to start now. And let's win big.
Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for sharing it, Ms. Bates. Ms. Seals, you like to go next?
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity and this platform, and I'm gonna yield my time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming. Representative Hodges, Mayor Lott, either one of y'all can jump in.
I too like Ms. Bates. I thank you for the opportunity. And thank you for using your platform for stepping out on faith and not fear and being obedient to the mission that God has commissioned you to do with your voice, your reason. And I'm delighted to be on here. And please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me as a resource if you ever need me. So I appreciate the time. God bless you.
I appreciate you, and I will. I'll blow that phone up in a minute.
So,
Mayor Lott of Camden, Arkansas, representing the down south people. Give us something.
So I've been saying, and I'll just say again, first thing I want to do is I want to ask Ms. Bates to please move to Camden. This is election year next year, and I need your assistance.
You leave Ms. Bates. You leave Ms.
And we would love to have you here. We
Ms.
need
Bates
you.
alone. I got Ms. Bates now.
You know that you have options. I always want to tell people what we are for before we really talk a lot about what we're against. And so HB 1256 will be presented on next week. And as you know, some of our people who go to prison or some people who make some mistakes along the way never really get a second chance at life. So I challenge you to look at HB 1256. And I hope that you'll form a positive opinion and help us to push it through. And it's to amend the Comprehensive Criminal Record Sealing Act, that when people get out, they need their records truly sealed so they can go to work. The whole time, some of those people are in prison, their child support is still going up and everything. They come out and they can't get a job. And if they paid their debt to society, if they've done what they were supposed to do to make amends for their mistake, then we need to be ready to receive them back into our society and do what we need to do. So that's what we're for. Again, we are against SB also 59. And SB 59 is where, again, they're saying that if you buy a gun in our state, you can do all this different stuff with it, and you don't even have to pay attention to the federal laws. Let me tell you something. We need to be mindful of all these gun bills, where they're talking about putting guns in the school, SB 161, where they're talking about guns being inside the school system, children learning hunter safety. Now, how are you going to take out history and then put in a gun class? Who's doing the thinking for these guys? And we need to stay vigilant. Don't get tired. Don't get weary. Enlist other people. Let's tell people the good news of the things that are going on in our wonderful state. And while we're working, here's what the Lord told, here's what Nehemiah was instructed. He had a brick in one hand and a sword in the other, and he had to fight while he was building. And I want to challenge you. We may have to fight while we're building, but whatever you do, don't give up. I want to do a shout out to my mom who came on to see me tonight. Love you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, and I thank you, brother. And I like to say, just thank all of you, and just thank all my guests. I see Sister Hodges on here. I see my guys, Marcus Stevens. I see Miss Tamika Jenkins and everybody that's on here, Miss Townsend, Miss Angela Snowden, and Shanae, hey, Miss Johnson down there, Eudora, and how you doing, Julie Brown, and everybody that has been on here. I really appreciate you all to come on here and y'all feedback and everything. Miss Tracy Shine from Blytheville, Arkansas. Of course, she coming there representing a guy from Blytheville. She ain't representing me. She my Philandarian, but that's okay. Thank you, Bobby Foreman. Thank you, Tanya Jones. Thank you everybody. And I just thank all of you all for coming on here. I really appreciate this because this, like I said before, Your Voice, Your Reason is not about Your Voice, Your Reason, nor is it about Kevin L. Hunt Sr. It's about elevating y'all voices because you all are out in the field. And I'm so excited that y'all are pulling Miss Bates. Miss Bates, I'm your agent. You owe me because I see Mary Lott trying to pull you on over there. But like Representative Hodges said, leave her alone because she really belongs in Pulaski County and not Mississippi County. But thank you all for coming out, and stay tuned for the next topic. If y'all see something going on, let me know because I can easily bring you back on here. I'm trying to be consistent in doing this long session in and then beyond session. And I just appreciate everything that you all doing. Thank you, Ms. Hill, for representing Pine Bluff. Thank you for representing Blytheville. Thank you for representing Camden. And Ms. Bates, thank you for representing Pulaski County, girl. I appreciate you. Thank y'all. I love you. And until the next time, peace out.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right.